Hello, my name is John Solomon. I'm with the Cybersecurity Advisors Network, or CyAN. We're a not-for-profit collective of cybersecurity subject matter experts based in France, but with a global membership. I'm here with James Briscoe, Secretary to the organization. And this is the first in a renewed series of videos for CyAN, talking about the organization, our activities, as well as bringing in stakeholders to talk about topics of interest and relevance to ourselves, to our community, to our members, as well as to the organizations and persons that we serve, societal interest, etc. We already have quite a number of videos up dating back to 2020. Unfortunately, this series was interrupted due to COVID. So this is our introduction, or rather a reintroduction to the cybersecurity world of what is CyAN, what do we do, who are we, and what are our views and expertise on a very wide range of cybersecurity related issues and topics of relevance to the society of the day. So hello, James.
Hi, John. How are you?
I'm very well. So thank you for joining us. You've been with the organization for quite a bit longer than I have, but I think both of us have a long history of cybersecurity related experience. And I want to ask your, for a quick summary of what is CyAN, a quick refresher, where does it come from, what were the ideas of its founding, and where has it been going?
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't think I've actually been with CyAN much longer than you have, but I think the way that we've interacted has been quite different. And so I came on in 2021 as an intern initially, and then I worked on a number of projects and such as research and outreach, and really helping to try and expand the network during that time. But then once my internship finished, I took a step away for a little while until I was invited back in the role as Secretary General. So that was quite exciting because CyAN is quite a good and unique organization in my mind, because there are a lot of associations and networks devoted to cybersecurity professionals. But I think CyAN is well placed to do something more unique than a lot of them, because, I mean, to answer part of your question, it started in 2015 in Paris, and it was founded by the current president, Jean-Christophe Le Tocan, and it was essentially designed to really provide a peer-to-peer network and connect cybersecurity professionals from all walks of our industry with each other from around the world. So what they recognized at the time was that cybersecurity as an industry and a profession was evolving. It wasn't just what people tend to think of in terms of coding or like the hard tech aspects of the roles. It was much more multidisciplinary than that. And so they really wanted to expand and bring in expertise to try and enact actual change within the industry. So it wasn't just a matter of getting in your vulnerability researchers. It was also bringing in people who specialize in insurance, for example, or specialize in defense roles, or even law. We have quite a few experienced lawyers, and that was also the current president, Jean-Christophe's background as a lawyer for many years. And so really by doing this, it opens up a huge scope of possibilities for the organization to actually enact change, which is part of the current direction of the organization as well. We've had, over the last couple of years, since about 2021, almost 2 years ago, not quite, almost a year ago now, we've actually built and started a path towards enabling different types of initiatives. So, for instance, probably our greatest success is our work with helping to establish and build the Good Faith Cybersecurity Researchers Coalition, or GFCRC for short, which came about because one of our members he approached the board and he was concerned about the rate and the vulnerability of white hat and bona fide researchers to be sued or get in other types of trouble from entities and organizations that were upset that they were simply pointing out exploitable vulnerabilities in their systems. And so what we did is that we brought global attention to it, including media releases, and then we've established an organization to continue this fight. So really what CyAN is currently doing is taking this multidisciplinarity that I mentioned, putting it into action for different types of causes and enabling those sorts of initiatives.
That's a good point. It's a good segue, actually, because then one of the things that I've noted as well is the wide range of profiles, locations, ages, backgrounds of some of the professionals. You can see on our website where everybody is from, and it's really around the world. We have a sizable European contingent, an Asian contingent, North American, you name it. But also, I think the GFCRC is a really good mention. As a member of the Secretariat, this is something that's dear to me as well. And I'll link to the GFCRC's resources in the comments to this video / podcast. One thing that's also come up prominently in the discussions about the incoming new board of directors is, for example, mentorship. So I think it's really good that you mentioned that CyAN is active in helping to change the industry, because a lot of our members and a lot of our stakeholders and engagements are really a good platform and opportunity to affect change, where we're not just providing a expert services to our to customers or partners or employers or whatever, but actually helping to do some good. I think another really prominent one that struck me was when Russia callously invaded Ukraine, was the immediate outpouring of willingness to help in some form, collect expertise, share intelligence, support on the ground, Ukrainian stakeholders, even help with non-InfoSec related activities such as refugee relief, communications enablement, etc., in whatever way we could. So I think, I really like that multidisciplinary approach. Given, we're investing a lot of time in the GFCRC, and we've had a lot of activity, as mentioned, discussed in the context of the new board. Mentorship for me personally is near and dear to my heart, and it's something I'm very enthusiastic about. What do you see as some of the main priorities for CyAN in the coming months?
So, pardon. So it's definitely building upon not just the mentorship, but also the support for the different initiatives that our members might be interested in, or even building themselves. So I know that there's private mentorship that happens. Some of our members, particularly I think in the APAC region, because it's there's not as many people there, even though there's a lot of space, so it is quite a tight-knit community. And so there's a lot of talking and interconnectedness, and there's a lot of going to events together. And so they often bring a lot of benefits. And for instance, I know that some of our APAC members would get together in Sydney, Australia, which is incidentally also my hometown. But they would get together, have some, even just for a couple of casual drinks, talk about their projects. And then because you had different levels of age, expertise, seniority, you'd often find that these members would be able to come out of casual drinks with tangible benefits for themselves, their advancement, and their business. And then on top of that, we also had a similar situation in France, where one member was helping put together a summit in Paris. And so they approached CyAN, and the president and I had a good conversation, and we came to an agreement on not only how will CyAN participate and represent, but also what other people, what other organizations that we can bring to the table to really help boost the profile of this. So the support can be as simple as that, to also really, I know I touched on this with the GFCRC when I brought that up and its story, but I really think it's important to note that we do respond to the concerns and interests of our members, because even one of our previous board members, they noticed and they were very interested in psychology and also burnout, which, as we know, with cybersecurity being quite a siloed industry, and a lot of people work in very high pressure environments, often with a lot of expectations, almost entirely by themselves and with a small department. And so that can often lead to a lot of stress. And so one of our members has established a organization called Cyberminds, which is aiming at helping to reduce burnout and the mental health pressures. So it's really, I think these sorts of examples really speak to the multidisciplinarity of it. So there's not only examples of business benefits, but also personal benefits and even health benefits, which is quite a big and broad claim, but I think we have the profile to back it up.
No, I think definitely, especially given the fact that so many of the CyAN members are so experienced and well positioned. Was my first discovery when I joined. I was nominated by a good friend and colleague of mine, and immediately saw 3 other people in the industry whom I know very well and respect very highly from very different profiles. I'll incidentally link to the Cyberminds site also in the comments to this.
Absolutely.
Media of choice, however you're seeing this. Last question for you before we wrap up is how can somebody get involved in CyAN, and what are the expectations of a member?
Yeah, so quite easy really. So we have 2 generally preferred methods. So one is that you can just apply on our website. There's a job form, and then we'll be in contact. Usually it involves a short interview with either me or one of the other available board members. And then from there, at the next board meeting, your application will be reviewed and either accepted or rejected, because we, as part of the industry, we do, and just with the standard of members that we do have, we review each application individually, look at people and whether or not they'll be able to not only bring value to the organization, but also receive value. And so typically we also take memberships on recommendation, just as you did. You were recommended by your friend, and that is usually one of the strongest ways to join, but we are open to it. And we're also looking to potentially engage more with groups like graduate students, really, who have a lot of value to bring and a lot of enthusiasm and expertise, but also they might not have the connections yet. And so it's really a matter of just getting them into an association, showing them that they're not alone in this industry and that they don't need to feel quite so siloed. But really, it's quite easy. So I'll just summarize so I won't be too tautological, but it's simply a matter of applying, just giving us a brief profile of who you are. We'll review it, then there's a small indexed application fee, which is a yearly membership fee, and it's indexed based on the Big Mac index for different regions around the world. And then we announce you with a bit of a celebration on LinkedIn and to our association. And from there, we send out regular emails, contacts, and opportunities. So I think that's about it. And there's plenty to do. And some of it's reactive, as you mentioned before, with Ukraine and the reaction to that. But there was also, I remember, a emergency meeting in reaction to the American withdrawal from Afghanistan and the situation there and how best to help people. So we do take proactive measures just as that, but there's also everything from those very high stakes discussions all the way down to just drinks with your local members.
And I think that's an important point, because so much professional networking is done over drinks and pizza. So thanks very much for that.
Thank you, John.
I will link to our website in the comments below. Link to this video. It will also be in whatever channel you're consuming this via. As mentioned, this is going to be the first in a series of revamped, revitalized CyAN videos, recordings, podcasts, whatever. of varying lengths, varying topics. If there are topics that you believe an organization with our caliber of members and breadth of expertise should be discussing and treating, I realize there's 100,000 security podcasts out there. This is a pretty special organization and a distinct body of knowledge. Please don't hesitate to get in touch, again, via our website. And we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much, and see you in the next one. Thanks, James.
Thank you, John.